Hi, we are back again for part 2 of What the Heck Do We Do for a Living? Like Don here. And I'm going to go ahead and ask Don some questions about his job that some of you might be wanting to know. And then also, I didn't mention in the last video, but feel free to leave some questions or comments of your own, either private message or you can put them in the comment section so that everybody can see them, and we'll be more than happy to answer those questions. So again, I'm Carrie Wheatley with John L. Scott, and this is Don Snyder with Priority Lending.
Hey everybody.
And we're going to go ahead and talk all about Don today. So Don, what the heck do you do for a living?
I am a mortgage advisor, which means that my job is to work with home buyers to identify what their current financial situation is, what they want to accomplish in the home buying process, and how the mortgage that they end up with is going to fit their long-term and their short-term financial needs. So it's really about two different things. We're going to identify a mortgage product that you qualify for, and then after that we're going to identify a mortgage strategy that makes the mortgage product fit with your long-term and short-term financial goals. It's about that easy.
Awesome. Yeah, and I will say from experience, I've worked with Don multiple times, and this guy is great about explaining. It all seems really overwhelming and kind of scary, especially if you're not a numbers person, but Don here is really, really great about going through and explaining it so that we can get that light turned on. So you go, oh, okay, I get it.
Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that.
Thank you for making my job easier.
That's what I'm here for.
Absolutely. So I have some questions for you. So my first questions are, what are some basic qualifications for buying a home?
Okay. I think right off the bat, two really important things. Number one is going to be your credit report and your credit score. So the first thing that we're going to be analyzing probably is your debt to income ratio, which determines how much you would be pre-qualified for. So what I figure is a good starting place is if you can bring your middle credit score up to 620, then that's a great place to start the conversation.
So not as high as you might think it needs to
Right.
be.
It's definitely not in the 700 range. And there are even opportunities to get a mortgage when you have below a 620 credit score. But that 620 is kind of the magic number where things get a little bit easier and a little bit more cost effective.
Absolutely.
And then number two is you got to have a job. If we're going to loan you money, we have to know that you have the ability to pay it back. In fact, that's a federal rule that we have to prove you have the ability to pay it back. And so if you've had the same job for 6 to 12 months, that's a great start. And we should start the conversation at that point. If you've owned your own business for 18 to 24 months, then that's a great place to start the conversation. So there are guidelines in place that we have to follow, but there are a lot of unique rules and exceptions that can be used if you have less than, say, a 2-year job history.
Mm-hmm.
So on the one hand, yes, have a job, have stable income, but on the other hand, don't let your job situation scare you away from having a conversation so that at very least you can get a roadmap of how to get from here to where you are qualified.
Absolutely. And make sure that if you are going to be purchasing a home and you're thinking about switching careers, I would wait until after you have purchased the home, because switching over from, let's say, a chef position to a software engineer, that does make a difference.
Carrie's entirely right about that. So if you're planning a career change, talk to us first, right?
Absolutely. Always talk to your professional.
For free. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Very good answer. My second, how much money is required to put down? I hear a lot of rumors out there that a lot of people still think that you have to have 20% down to buy a home. Is that true?
It's not exactly true. It's very situation based. And I did hear, I think it was last week I read the statistic that something like 57% of home buyers thought that it was 20%.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a lot.
I was hanging out with some girlfriends and she said, I'm never buying a house because I have to have 30% down. Whoa, girl, no. We had a conversation and it was just, oh, holy cow, I don't have to put all that money down. Otherwise, a lot of us wouldn't be able to have the homes that we have, including myself.
Exactly. It could be 1/10 of that amount. And so, there are a lot of loan programs available for different people in different financial scenarios. It could be 0%, 3%, 3.5%, 5%. All of those programs exist. And if you want to put 20% down, hey, there's an important place in the world for people who are willing and able to do that. But not everybody can.
Absolutely.
And there are still mortgage products available for people who can't.
It all depends on what's best for your bank account, essentially, and what you're able to put down.
Exactly.
But there are programs, so don't be afraid to ask about them.
Yep. Yeah. If you have a couple of $1,000s, that's a good place to start. We should talk.
Absolutely. My last question. What is underwriting? People hear it and pretend, yeah, underwriting, absolutely. At a party, like, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. But really they're like, what the heck is underwriting? And they're just nodding their heads. I know that was me, that's for sure. But why don't you go ahead and explain just kind of briefly what underwriting is?
I like to say that the underwriter is the person who analyzes the file and has the big red rubber stamp that says approved. They basically audit the information that we've provided to them, make sure that it's all accurate and that you fit within the federally based guidelines for the loan program that we're trying to put you into. It really is that simple. They just verify that we've done our jobs correctly and that you really are going to ultimately qualify for the mortgage that you want.
And
That's
we
about
can go
it.
into more details about that in another video too. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And just again, we've mentioned this in another video. It's not up to Don. It's not even up to the underwriter. It's up to the guidelines, and it is their job to make sure. And there are people that watch to make sure they do
Mhm.
fulfill their guidelines. And so,
Yeah.
it's just
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's great for the economy, actually.
Absolutely.
And it's good for you as people who want to go out and buy homes to know that, we're held to a really high standard of ethics and truth in what we do. Yeah.
all right. Well, great. And again, if you have any other questions that like to comment or direct message us, we'd be more than happy to answer those questions for you. So
We're here for you.
have a great weekend, and thank you again for watching us.
Yeah. See you next week.